PRISM AI consultant, hey. We get you the ROI from AI. And Dr. Jeff is in the building tonight.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of AI Hustle with Dr. Jeff. I am your host, Dr. Jeff, and today, the 3-role Claude setup we use to ship real work. So that is what we'll be talking about today, how to use Claude. So if you got Claude open right now, if you have it on your desktop, because we're going to be using the app, open it. If you don't, that's step one. So today we're talking about Claude, and we're getting you set up with it, how to get the most out of it, and how to have a live-in virtual assistant that lives inside of your computer. By the time we finish this, your Gmail, calendar, drive, browser, talking to your assistant that runs your day. So enough theory. Let's get actually to it. I'm going to share my screen, and we are going to go over a little bit of the preliminaries for Claude. Okay, so this is Claude. Now I'm using the browser version. So I have a paid plan. You have to have at least a $20 plan to do what we're going to do today. And the specifics is we're going to do some connectors, and we're going to have it be able to read the files on our computer. So first thing is connectors. What are connectors, and why are we going to use it? So if you click on your name, and then you go to settings, and then you go to connectors, the 3 that I am seeing that unlock a certain level of like that AI assist, that administrative assistant that lives inside of your computer, is your calendar, whatever that may be. So for me, it's Gmail. I'm sorry, yeah, I use Google Space. So your calendar, your email, and your storage system for your files. So for me, I use Gmail, Google Calendar, and Google Drive. So Claude has access to all those 3. If you just go to browse connectors, and then you can click on, so if you use a different email, then you can check and see if that is there. I know that Microsoft is not available right now, to like Outlook is not one of those options. However, this also works with ChatGPT as well. It's just Claude works, it's just better right now with Claude from a connector standpoint. However, the connectors do work in ChatGPT. So if you have ChatGPT, a paid plan there, you can do the same exercise. It's in your settings as well. But Claude works best, so that's why we're doing it with Claude. So email, your calendar, and your drive. Those 3 things you can only do with Claude. You can only do one at a time. So if you have like 5 different emails, you can't do 5 different emails for the connectors. You can only do one for it. But if you wanted to change it to a different one, you can just check that one, or log out of that one and then log in or connect a different email, and it will work. So it's very easy to change them, but you can only do one at a time. All right, so that's the first. I would say these triumvirate: your email, your calendar, and your drive. There's lots of other ones: PayPal, Canva. There's hundreds of connectors, but those, in my experience with clients over this past, I would say 6 months, that is a special unlock. Okay, we'll test out why that is after we connect some other things too. So that's the first thing. Next, you see right here where it says Claude in Chrome. All right, if you click on that, and then you click on Allow Extension, that will allow Claude to take control of Chrome. And that is needed at times because you're not, sometimes you want it to work in the background while you're doing other things. So having Claude in Chrome, it can fill out forms for you. It can just do a bunch of other things where it may be tedious and might require you to do those in the past. Now Claude can do that. So that is needed as an unlock standpoint. All right, so with that, now how can I do it? Now I have that, it's Opus 4.7. I'm going to switch to 4.6 Sonnet, just because, one, most of the people out there watching this don't need Opus 4.7 to do the things that you need. And two, it's a heavy model, meaning that it is it costs a lot. It's expensive from a compute standpoint. If you want to check and see, well, how do I know how much usage I have? If you go to your settings and you click on usage, you can see how much you've used and how much you have for the week. I'm on a $20 20x plan, max plan. That's $200 a month. But if you're on a $20 plan, your usage will get used up a lot faster. So that is why I'm doing a lot of coding. That's why I'm on the max plan. So that's why I use Opus 4.7. But for what we're talking about today, Sonnet 4.6 is best for most things. Okay, so we have our 3. So if you're doing like a checklist of what does Dr. Jeff say that I need to have my email, I need to have my folder, like my storage folder, and I need to have my calendar linked up. So that's the first check. Second, I need to have Claude and Chrome. Check. Third, you need to talk to it and not type. I say that almost every time I do a AI Hustle episode, or if you see me speaking. It is like I started 3 years ago and it was important then. It's even more important now. Triple down on it. You need to get the transcript. That's one piece. And then getting in the comfortable habit, talking to your AI. So every one of your computers has a dictation capability. So I'm going to, I use actually a third-party program called Whisperflow. This is it right here. And even though my computer has it built in, I use Whisperflow just because it's more convenient across different electronic devices. And I just had to hit the function button and it's clear. But you do not have to buy a separate thing. I'm just doing it because of preference, but you have it built into your computer, your dictation capability. And when we go to the co-work side in a little bit, I'll show you how you can use the one that's built into Claude. But right now we're on the browser, the chat side. So let's just test out our connectors. Hey, what's going on, Claude? This is Dr. Jeff. And I just set up my connectors with my Gmail and my Drive and my calendar. So I was seeing if you can let me know what my schedule is for tomorrow. And I want you to go through my emails to help me prep for tomorrow, as well as the transcripts that I might have in the G Drive to help me, for tomorrow as well. So in my prompt, I talk to it, so it's a lot easier for me and efficient for me to get information to it. And then second, I told it exactly what I did. So what I wanted. And I told it how to do it in that regard because I've already set up the connectors. So I told it that I set up my connectors in my G Drive, the Gmail Drive, and the calendar. And I said I wanted to know what my calendar is, so be really clear on that. So now it's going to take it step by step to do those things. If I did not have my calendar set up, then it wouldn't be able to look and see who's on my schedule. So that is something that's really, really important if you're trying to have your assistant help you with organization. If I did not have my email set up, then I wouldn't be able to pull relevant emails for context, so it can help me with that. And if I did not have my Drive set up, then I would not be able to get the transcripts from these conversations that I've had with these people in the past. So now we have Wednesday, which is tomorrow. Quick note, AI notoriously gets the dates in the day wrong. So it'll say something like Tuesday, May 6th. Now, May 6th is Wednesday. It was correct in this occurrence, but it is a notorious thing that it's wrong about often is dates and days. So that's just something for yourself to just triple check and make sure you say, hey, go online. Make sure today is, May 5th, Tuesday. Make sure you don't make that mistake. So that's something that, people might not know. All right. So it has my day brief. So Wednesday, time with my daughter in the morning, then hustle versus huddle with my other company, then meeting with Ben, then BNI one-to-one, then BNI meeting, then meeting with a collaboration partner. And because I have the transcript and I've had other meetings with this collaboration partner, it was able to grab this one has real meat to it. So from the email, so it took the emails and looked at what we're working on from a real estate standpoint. So this is a real estate collaboration meeting. And these are real deals, real numbers, real work that we'll be doing it. Then at 2 o'clock, I have a program discussion with someone from a speaking engagement standpoint. So it has all the transcripts from that, pulls that, gets me ready in that regard. Then time with my daughter when she gets home from school. Looks like there's a conflict there, so I have to look at that. And then I have a weekly check-in with a client, and then I have another client session in the evening. So that's my day tomorrow, and having those three things tied in, my calendar, my drive, and my in my email, I'm able to be in Claude, and all that stuff is accurate, and I can continually work in here to keep on preparing if I wanted to, which is how I typically prepare. So that is a game changer and just a prep standpoint. Now, everything I just told you, that was last year. That was last year's wins. Whoa, well, hold up, Jeff. What do you mean about what you said that this stuff is what you're doing now? It is, but we build on top. And this is why it's so important to like get in now with learning how to use AI. Get in now with AI literacy, because as new features come out, you stack on top and then you get better and better and better and better. So now that I'm good with this part, what's this year's unlock? Well, this year's unlock is co-work, okay? Not co-pilot, co-work. Well, what's co-work? Co-work is, that's where you need the actual app, desktop app for Claude. You download that, and then now it has access to all your files. See, beforehand in the browser, you have to hit this little plus button. You have to upload each one of the files individually if you wanted to look at it, if you wanted to parse it. The connectors are able to go in there and search things and get things. But if it's not in the drive, if it's not in if it's not in my G drive, if it's not in my emails, and it's not in the calendar, then I have to upload singularly. But with this co-work, now it has access, if I give it granted, to the different files on my computer. And so therefore it has more power to help me with things. So let's look and see how that works in particular. So I am going to share my entire screen. Okay, so now hopefully everybody can see. So this is the actual app for Claude. So on the actual app, we have the chat side, which this is where we was working with on the, on the side. So the preparing for tomorrow. So this is what we were just working with, but I'm in my app now. But we have chat, we have co-work, and we have code. All right, so now the code part, we're actually going to talk about in a different way, because I use VS Code and Claude Code together. I don't use it in this terminal, but I do use all three. So we just went over the chat side. So now we're going to say the co-work side. So co-work is in the middle here. And we do a new task. And for here, you can click on work in a project or choose a folder. So all the connectors still stay. So all the Gmail and everything I talked about, that's still connected. But in addition to that, I could, for example, click in my desktop, right? So let's look at my actual desktop. So if we look at my desktop, we see I got all these files here. And it's kind of organized, but kind of not. So this is just a quick example. So if I was to say, and I'm going to use this microphone, because on the app, there's a microphone built into Claude that you can use. So I'm going to talk to it through this. Hey, what's going on, Claude? I want you to clean up my desktop. Do not delete anything. Hey, what's going on, Claude? I want you to clean up my desktop. Don't delete anything, but I want you to put things in folders and subfolders that make sense for a human. And then you can, if you want, you can create another folder that is recommendation for delete, but don't delete anything. Thank you. Okay, so this is me now just directing how I want to do. I told her I wanted to work inside desktop, so then I'll send it. I specifically said, do not delete anything. So it's not going to delete anything, but it's going to first come up with a plan of action as to how it's going to arrange those files. And then it's going to do it for me. Now, I don't have a lot of files on my desktop, but real life example, in the past week, I had a client that had about, I think it was like 2,900 files in their downloads folder, right? You can relate. You might have your documents folder or your downloads folder or your Dropbox folder, insert folder that you might have. You might have a lot of files that are just loose. You've been for years, decades maybe, on your computer, and they're there, but they're just not organized. You can do this same exact prompt. Now, I say same exact. You don't have to be exact. Just tell it what you want in that prompt. So you don't have to copy paste. You just pretend like you're talking to an admin who has really good organizational skills. And you say, hey, I want you to not delete anything, but organize the files. That's something that makes sense like a human, for a human, or for somebody who dealing with files, and execute. And then less than 10 minutes for that client, their entire downloads was cleaned up. So those 2,900 files turned into like about 15 folders with subfolders, and the files were put in there. And then one of those folders, of course, was a recommendation for a delete file. This is a simple example that packs a big punch. This is punching above its weight grade, because when we are organized, then we're able to move farther, faster. So how often are we thinking about, oh, I should do this, I should do that, I should do this, but we're not organized in the right way. So we're like, oh, okay, well, I can't move because my life is disorganized or messy, or my files are disorganized and messy. That problem can get eliminated immediately, like today, for $20 a month, because you have to have at least $20 the pro plan to be able to use this feature. But that's all. You have to know that this feature exists, and that is more, I would say, cumbersome than the $20, because there's a lot of people who have Claude. There's not a lot of people who are using it in this way, but they do have access to it. It is possible. So try that out. Try that out to see how it works, to clean up your desktop, to clean up your downloads. Say the thing like, don't delete anything. But then once you do that, then you could do the next piece, which is, all right, now you see that it has access to those files. Let's have it do something that's going to help you reach your goals. So if it has access to maybe your work folder, you can say, okay, well, look at my work folder and or look at my work folder, go into marketing and, review my marketing plan that's in that folder and grade it out of 10. So that's called stress testing. So if you don't have a marketing folder, if you don't have a plan for 2026, get that first, right? We're getting ready to be halfway through the year. It's okay. Do it now if you don't have it. But once you have clear goals as to where you're trying to get to, then you can say, okay, now can you please create something, Claude, that's going to give me the infrastructure to actually meet those goals? What needs to happen next? So you're just having that conversation. That administrative assistant that lives inside your computer, it just turned into a different type of assistant. You pick the one you need. Now, that doesn't say that the actual humans that you may be talking to or getting advice from go away. Quite the contrary. Now you have more information to where you're not coming to the conversation completely ignorant. So that person, whoever you're dealing with, whether it be your marketing person or it be your business consultant or it be whatever, now you're like, hey, I have more information on my business. I can ask you, human, better questions. And now you can bestow that knowledge on me to where I can use the AI and get even better, even faster, skilling up. So things that you can do now, all for $20 in Claude or ChatGPT. Now, ChatGPT doesn't have, it's not as easy, I would say. It can do some of these things with Codex, but it's just not quite as easy as it is with Claude. I do think that it's coming soon. And once it does, you know that I'm going to tell y'all right about it. I try to let you know what is the most practical bang for your buck. I know everybody got busy lives, so what is the thing that's most frictionless that's going to be able to punch above its weight? That's why we're talking about Claude today. But do know that ChatGPT does have some of these features. It's just a little bit harder to execute, but it is possible. And Gemini comes out with theirs next month, and when that happens, I'll let you know about that too. Okay, so let's look and see. We're finished now with it. So what's recommended for delete? So let's look at our desktop now. Oh, look at that. That looks different. That looks clean. And that's the name of the game. All right. So I am going to go back to the browser part. And we are going to now, we talked about Claude quite a bit. We talked about how to set up your connectors, the most important ones, which are your email, your drives, or your storage folders, and your calendar, as well as how to do the Claude in Chrome, and with the app, how you can have it do things like arrange, organize files that are directly on your desktop or your drive, your local drive. But how do you use this in combination with other tools? So, because it's not just Claude, it's not just ChatGPT, it's not just Gemini, it's all three. So how do we use all three for something like a real practical use case? So we're going to do that. So I'm going to use ChatGPT for image, and I'm going to use Gemini for research. So, and I'm going to use Claude as my captain. So what does that look like? For example, thank you so much, Claude. I appreciate this. All right, so tomorrow, that Rob Sayer meeting that I have, I want you to give me a deep research prompt that's going to be relevant for that meeting. Tell me what the goal is first before you come up with the prompt, and I guess the logic behind it. Then come up with that deep research prompt. I'm going to use that. I'm going to put it in a Gemini, and then I'll give it back to you when it's after it's completed it. Thank you very much. Gemini is the absolute best with deep research, in my opinion. Claude can do it. ChatGPT can do it. Gemini is the best. So what I often do is I'll have Claude come up with a prompt for me. That's called metaprompting. For those who have been watching the AI Hustle episodes, they do know, they are very familiar with that. This is not the first time we're talking about metaprompting. It is a staple strategy where you have the AI come up with the prompt for you. People thought that prompt engineering was going to be a job for humans to last a long, long time. That's going to be one of the jobs that AI creates. We'll come to find out that AI is good at prompting as well. So metaprompting allows the human to ask the AI, what is the prompt I'm going to need in order for me to reach my goal? But the human has to know what the goal is. That is where the human still lies. The top three reasons for, I guess I would say, human moat right now: taste, judgment, and accountability. So those three things, AI is not taking that job anytime soon, but soon is very relative. In that, what is soon nowadays? All right, I digress. All right, so gave me a deep research prompt. I like to stress test, so we're going to grade it out of 10 real quick. Thank you so much for this. Could you please grade this prompt out of 10 based off of my goals? Thank you. I like to grade this out of 10 prompt because 8.5 is decent. Sometimes you'll get like a 5. You'll be like, what? Why did you give me a 5 answer? And the reason is because a lot of times, sometimes it's vague in the prompt, and then other times it's just, I say wilding. So you just say, all right, now can you please give me a 10 out of 10? Let's look and see the logic behind it first. So Rob is bringing you in as an analytical partner for real estate deal and a hard deadline. So the real goal is to establish a value, data-driven real estate partner. So it's the logic behind this prompt: market context, deal-specific analysis framework, and then sheriff sale mechanics for Carbon County, Pennsylvania specifically. So then now I gave it 8.5. Of course, I'm going to say, thank you. Now I need my 10 out of 10 prompt, please. Thank you. It didn't catch everything, but 10 out of 10 prompt works. So now it's going to give me that, and I'm going to copy it, paste it into Gemini, and then I will say a really good deep research prompt in Gemini is going to take about 15 minutes to finish. You do not need a paid plan to use it. You can use Gemini's deep research for free. Now, I will say the free deep research that Gemini will give you is not as good as the paid plan. So if you have a Google Workspace, I'll say it again. If you have a Google Workspace paid, like a business plan, a lot of you already have the pro version of Gemini already, automatic. So that is so that's just good for you to know. So for you to use. But if you don't, then I'll show you what to do. All right, so here is Gemini. I have Pro, and I do have Gemini for Mac, but I'm not going to do that right now. So I have the Pro version, and first we're going to click on our tools. We're going to click on deep research. I'm going to paste in my prompt, and boom, and the bottom, great. And then right here, if you do not have the paid plan, you're only going to be able to do deep research with Fast. But if you do have a paid plan, then you can use Pro for your deep research, which is what I'm going to use. I'll hit go. And there's all of them, whether it's ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini. Once you put your prompt in for the deep research, it's going to generate a plan, and then it's going to ask you, is this plan okay? So it's making sure, because it's going to go off on its own for like 15, 20 minutes. So it doesn't want to waste that compute, doesn't want to waste that time. So after it generates its plan, you just got to say yes, and then you can go off, and it'll finish and notify you when it's done, and then you can read it from there. We won't be able to see it be completed in this episode of AI Hustle with Dr. Jeff, but just know that we'll get it started at least. We'll get it started at least. So let's wait and see. And you can always look and see what it's thinking about from that little drop down there. Generating the plan usually takes like 60 seconds to 2 minutes. So while that's going, we're not going to forget about that. Let's go back to Claude. And now I told you that I was going to use ChatGPT as well. So we're going to use ChatGPT for image standpoint. ChatGPT in the last 2 weeks came out with GPT 2.0 image, which is the best image generator on the market now. So ChatGPT has that title. Nano Banana 2, which is Gemini's image generator, was the best for the longest time. And it's still very, very strong. So like, let's say like if you didn't know about ChatGPT being the best currently, and you use Nano Banana 2 with Gemini, you'll be fine. But it is good to know that ChatGPT has the crown, because the things that it used to do, that it used to struggle with, it is king of the hill now. Things that I absolutely love in an image standpoint, infographics. Infographics are amazing. Also, because of how it works, it's think of it as a graphic designer that has a PhD in all of the subjects. It is a reasoning image generator. So it actually has a brain. ChatGPT does. So with that image generation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Claude give us our prompt. Hey, what's going on, Claude? Could you please give me an image generation prompt? I'm going to give it to ChatGPT, but something that would like blow Rob's socks off with, this particular what we're doing tomorrow. So once again, we're metaprompting. So we're metaprompting to give me the image, and we're going to do both. Well, let's grade and see how this prompt is. All right, so grade this prompt out of 10 based off the goals. If I get a 9 or above, I'm good. Nope. Nope, not a 9 or above. So of course we're going to say, thanks, appreciate it. No, this is not right. I need you to go online and look up the capabilities of ChatGPT 2.0 thoroughly, because what you just said there, saying ChatGPT's image generation struggles badly with text overlays, you're using your old built-in data. What's it called? Training data, and you need to find out the latest and greatest. And this is why a human is in the loop. You got to know something, like you got to bring it to the table. So in here it says where it loses 3 points. First, ChatGPT's image generation struggles badly with text overlays. Not no more. So me just reading that right there, I know, like, nah, you don't know what this is. So you're not going, if it doesn't know what its capabilities are, how can it give me the best prompt? It can't. So what do? I say go out and find Go learn about it. And then now it did that, and it looked at all these different sites. And then what does it say? You are right to call it out. I was working off of stale training data. Here's the real picture. Came out April 21st, so it was a month ago. Well, no, I said 2 weeks. That's about right. So now the revised grade is 8 out of 10. Okay, great. Now it knows what it can do. Great. Now that you know what it can do, please give me my 10 out of 10 prompt. And I really want, visually appealing, stunning, unique, all that stuff. We want to, test the limits, so to speak. All righty. So now we have, it's going to do that. Let's go back and look at Gemini. Ugh. All right, so looks like it didn't do it. No worries. We're just going to do a new chat. Pro, deep research, paste. Try again. For whatever reason, didn't, and this thing is wrong. It says May 7th when the meeting is May 6th, but whatever. All right, so let's go back while that is coming up with our plan. Now that we have this great infographic that should be a 10 out of 10, or actually I'm not sure if it's an infographic or not. We'll go to ChatGPT and we'll paste. And now it's going to create that image. But while it's doing that, I want to see, let's first detour. This is what I was talking about by the plan. So it created the plan, and it was a lot faster this time around. So, there was just some technical issues with it. We're going to start research. So now this is going, it's going to go for like 15 minutes. But I always wait for, in this screen, for it to actually, okay. So for it to actually say, okay, I'm on it. It says you can leave this chat. So now I'm good to leave. I'm going to start a new chat. And in this one, what am I going to do? I'm going to put that same exact prompt that we used for ChatGPT and see how it is. Just to compare the two, put that on Pro. Now we're using Nana Banana 2 for Gemini. So we're going to compare that against what ChatGPT gave us. So it's just about finished with ChatGPT with adding final touches. And cinematic, hyper-realistic aerial photograph of a small Pennsylvania coal country near Appalachian Mountain, Palmerton, Pennsylvania. Okay. Let's see if Gemini's finished any faster. Yep. All right, so Gemini finished up first. And this is Gemini Nano Banana 2. I like that. So this is, cool image. Let's see what chat did. Chat still working on it. Give a little bit of time here. I will say that in general, ChatGPT's 2.0 is faster than this. Our prompt is pretty detailed, but that's why another reason why I like doing both. So you can compare apples to apples. And so you can compare them. You can see like, wow, this looks similar, but more detailed in like the houses and whatnot. Now you might aesthetically just like the other one more, or you might like this one more. It gives the actual addresses of the places that we're looking at. So just wanted to give an example of like what ChatGPT's image generator could not do that before. Everything is spelled correctly. Logo at the top right hand corner. Followed the instructions. Looks like to the T. So ChatGPT forced to be reckoned with when we're talking about the image generation standpoint. But once again, Nano Banana is good as well. So just again to look the difference between the two. And I would definitely say that ChatGPT was just more detailed in its aesthetics. So I could see why it took a little bit longer. And we did all that in 30 minutes. All right. So things that we went over today. We went over the using Claude for setting up your calendar, your Gmail or email and files, how to do that, because it's just a click of a button. And then when you also set up the Claude in Chrome browser, that gives you, I would say, a different level of capability. So now once you have that capability, you have to know that you have it and you just try to wield it. So we were able to have, like, we used the example going through my email, set it like in a real life example. Hey, what do I have tomorrow? Help me prepare for it. I feel like everybody has that, right? And if you have those 3 things already set up, then you can be able to win from that. Then from there, we looked at, we got a meta prompt for Gemini deep research to help with what I have tomorrow, the biggest meeting that I have tomorrow. And then we got some images to go along with that as well. And it's still going, but once it's finished, then I can upload that to Claude and say, okay, here's the data for it. And it could continue to help me prepare for the meeting. And I did not have to physically do that research myself, but I would now take my time in reviewing everything. So human's job: taste, judgment, accountability. Don't forget to review. Hopefully you found the things that I talked about today helpful to help you reach your goals. Lots and lots of businesses are winning in a big way. You know, a lot of solopreneurs out there who were struggling before now are able to have some solvency to where they can actually hire people. A lot of times, a lot of people are saying like, man, you know, with AI, people are not going to like hire as many, and that may be true, you know, in the future. But there's a lot of people who will hire people because of AI as well. So it really just depends on how you're using it and what your end goals are. So if you have some end goals and you're like, man, I want to do some of that stuff, come holler at me. And the PRISM team, you can join our free community on school.com, SKOOL, or you can get on my calendar for a 30-minute revenue strategy call to see if there are some other options that PRISM can be able to help you out with. Be an honor to train you. And with that being said, thank you so much for joining me today for another episode of AI Hustle with Dr. Jeff. And always remember, be nice to yourself. Thanks, and have a great day.
Sound the car engine turning off. Keys jingling, deep exhale. 8:55 a.m., same parking spot. White coat in the back seat.
Welcome to Farmageddon, don't lose your mind. 4 meters running, you're running out of time. Stress going up and your safety going down. One wrong feel and they shut the whole thing down. Farmageddon, Farmageddon, bet you won't survive this shit. Number 7, Farmageddon, bet you won't survive this shift. Number 7. Drive through beeping, line 3 on hold. Corporate wants the metrics, do what you're told. Student tech is panicking, drop the vial. Waiting bin is packed, overflowing down the aisle. Hydrocodone, metformin, lisinopril. Verify the dose of somebody getting ill. Combo streak is building, don't break the chain. One more fill, and I'm back in the game. Welcome to Farmageddon.